Grazie davvero.
Thank you so much. In this moment, we've gone outside our hall and now we're linked up by streaming with the whole world. Now, a big greeting to everyone who's following us all over the world.
Stefania Bogo è il chitarrista compositore.
Thank you, Stefano. We think
abbiamo tutto a nostra disposizione.
We've got everything available.
Più volte nei nostri incontri fino ad oggi. Non possiamo
We've
a nostra disposizione per
everything is at our availability. We can't take it for granted that everything is at our availability. But to understand this, you can that somebody's going to come. Fabiana is going to come on stage, and who studied geology, and she works with different disciplines. So what fascinates you the most?
The thing I like most is a subject which I discovered by studying this about my existence. It means studying the minerals that exist in the rocks by analyzing a rock under the microscope and then finding the tiny details in it.
Why do you choose this course?
But on TV, when you hear all the bad news about earthquakes and wars and volcanoes, all the floods, it's always made me curious. I always had this desire to think, why do all these things keep happening? Why do we have earthquakes? Why do we have all these floods? And so that's why I decided I wanted to study this subject, because I go directly there in the field and I see where the earthquake took place. And so I'm really happy to be able to study these things. And I'd like to invite many of you, not just in this field of earthquakes and things and volcanoes, but to learn and discover anything.
Eccoci. Allora, sicuramente da tutti questi momenti sono venuti fuori.
Certainly, from all the things that we've seen, we've got many questions. So it's the time to ask someone who's able to answer. Some of the professors who are with us. Maybe it's... So we want to listen to these professors who will answer the questions that have come out speaking to you before this event started. We'll introduce them to you. There's Alessia Pica, who teaches physical geology.
Carlo Esposito, che è il professore di geologia.
Carlo Esposito, professor of applied geology and geological risk. And Fabio Fritetta, structural geology. Thank you for being here with us and for being available. I want to begin with Professor Tripetta. The simplest question, but maybe the most difficult. Is it inevitable, climate heating?
So, global warming is... it can be avoided. Yesterday before, I heard people saying that they're speaking about eco-anxiety. Yes, the dramatic environments that we're facing help to increase this anxiety. In reality, what we are living is partly... I'm a geologist. First of all, I want to say this. And a geologist learns that the land has different breadths and it's millions and millions of years. And the millions of years in the history of the Earth, these climate changes have already happened, as you may know. And with a very long different times. What we measure is the phenomena that come out, that the human being brings about. And how this will make an impact depends on us. And the scenarios that are foreseen are models. And in order to understand the models that we can trust, we have to trust different sources. And there are sources, for example, the International Agency of Energy, and they see the future perspective. So if we go and see these scenarios, in reality, you can see that there are different dramatic scenarios, but this means that all the states, all of us, we're getting worse and worse. But just keeping the politics that have been established, but by the different countries, we can see a constancy of the temperature. But then if we activate all the proposals that we have fixed, that the countries do all the different energy politics that we have promised, then we can, in 2050, we could have an increase which is a less. So if you see the green line, which is a bit more optimistic, but the curve, which is a blue color, then that is what we will have, the heating that will be more contained. But if we simply act out the politics that we are doing now, but we can do much better. We can go towards the green line, and this all depends on us. I'll just conclude by saying that depends on us, but you see there's the lines at the bottom. So this the energy that we will ask for. And these are just models, but you see that what we can start doing immediately is to ask for less energy. Less energy we asked, the less we pollute, and that we can go towards the green color.
Thank you very much. We've spoken about energy. Now we want to talk about water with Professor Pica. Why is it that rain is the same everywhere? There's some places where there's more rain and less. And there are periods of time when there's heavy rain and other times when there isn't. Yes, there are natural reasons here. And they're linked to the cycles between the sun. The sun is our star, and it has a part to play on our planet, and it makes it that all the heating that comes from the sun, it reaches in different ways in different places. So it's more intense near the equator, and in the poles it's closer. And so this is, if we think of it's the distribution of rain. But this plan, what we've got here, we can see. We can see the different shades going up to the blue, which is at the North and South Pole. And we can see that the temperature, the heat is stronger near the equator, and that as you go further to the North and South Pole, it's cooler. But when on the other plan with the blue and white, we can see where the rain comes. Where the land is more heated at the level of the equator, the sun heats intensely the equator. Instead, if we go towards the poles, this distribution, you see it's less, but that the rain is more abundant at the sides, but instead at the poles, the water evaporates. And so there's condensation there, and so it's less water again. The white areas on the map are areas of high pressure. They're a long way from the oceans where the water evaporates, and so it's linked not just to an uneven spread of heat, but also the circulation of air that then links to this.
Torneremo anche a parlare di acqua.
So I want to talk about energy now to Professor Pican Esposito. What does it mean, clean energy? And how can we define it?
Sempre domande facili, no?
They're all very easy questions. They're all very difficult questions because when they seem easy. And so to define a clean energy, it means that this energy has an impact. And this is a message that I would send to you, that when we have to define something, we have to understand something, it's important to refer to something. And so as a reference point, we take the International Energy Agency. The clean energy is the quantity to produce an amount of energy. And so this all depends on the types of energy, the source that we use. You all know, for example, the hydroelectrics, these all have less carbon dioxide than the monsters that we of the fossil fuels. They are monsters, but they're monsters that have led us to have economic development that we have. So to define clean energy, we have to see what is the amount of carbon dioxide and the energy that comes out of it. So there was something that might surprise you. The nuclear in this optic is an energy. The nuclear is clean energy. The nuclear has very little carbon dioxide for all the energy that it produces. So the definition, in reality, of clean energy is in the quantity of carbon dioxide. Then this doesn't mean that this is an energy that is renewable, which is something else. So sometimes we academics are a bit boring, but we go in the details and how they have to be defined. And so within this cycle, you can see that there is always this annual report on energy, and there's all the energies that were able to make us save carbon dioxide because they'll substitute to the fossil fuels. And in Italy, we have to have hydroelectric energy because we are one of the states that has more water than others, and so it's a positive in this sense. But now I'd ask Carlo, who's a great expert in this sense. So thank you, Fabio. Just to complete with 2 words, because hydroelectric energy is that are renewable. So we have to remain here in Italy. There's one of the resources where we can really trust, because you can say that Italy has an economic boom in the 50s and was connected with the capacity to produce electricity because of the water. And so it's a great resource, and it's also full of energy. And you will all remember, you started studying in history the great civilizations where we develop at the beginning of humanity, where there was water not only for agriculture or to put something on the food on the table, but also there was these windmills for humanity. You have a water windmill to bring about energy and to take advantage of this energy. So the hydroelectric plant has a very small impact of carbon dioxide, hardly anything, but then it has to be managed with care, because the sea is not here, but also the human being goes to alterate and to change the course of a river, and so we have to keep in mind of this. So always all things must be looked at in a context which is vaster and then puts the environment at the center of our attention. So I'm sure hydroelectric energy in some way, we have to do something to relaunch it. And I conclude by saying that hydroelectric energy has technology which help also to contrast phenomena like floods and that we hear a lot about in these days, and we will see that perhaps we can say something more later.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you for the explanations you've given us, but we'll meet again later. I want to now invite onto the stage here Alessandro Bonocore. He has to help me with a questionnaire.
We're going to do a new questionnaire. You did one before. So you have to put QR code. There will be an image of a QR code. And so prepare your mobile phones, and so that you can get the QR code and to see what these questions are to open up the form. So answer it very seriously. And let's try to put a bit of seriousness because it's really needed. So are you ready with the app? I know it's very committing, but perhaps we can do it. So first question. So how much do you think ECOGIVE can change your habits? So 5 is the maximum. So it will change a lot. So 1 little and 5 a lot. So how do you believe that ECOGIVE project can change your habits and your consumption? So what do you think of the event today has increased your awareness of environmental sustainability? Nothing, a little, enough, or a lot? So for each question, you can choose one. It has made sensitive the themes linked to environment sustainability. And has increased your knowledge of the role of the geologist and nature in society. And it has made more sensible the need of the creation of a society which is equal and inclusive.
We'll give you a few seconds to finish.
Ok, chi ha finito il test può fare un applauso ad Alessandro.
If you've finished, you can start clapping because Alessandro's helped us in this moment.
Troppo buoni. Grazie ancora. La vostra presenza è importantissima. Parlatene tanto.
Thank you very much. And speak a lot about the environment because some weeks Alberto Angela came here and he said something very important. Our species is the greatest challenge that has ever faced, which is the environmental challenge. And we can come out of it, all of us, but we have to all do our part. And it's very important to remember this. Thank you to everyone.
La sua parte.
So each one does their part.
Tanti sono gli interrogativi che ci siamo posti in questi mesi.
We've asked ourselves many questions preparing for this meeting, and the answers we found in looking at this whole process, a process that many of us have begun when we started, but we want to tell you more about it today. We've learned to look after the environment, starting from little everyday gestures in different environments. And even the most natural things we do, water, gas, recycling, and action.
Let's Give the Environment a Network is the title we have chosen for today, and we have decided to focus on two aspects in particular, electricity and water. There are many questions revolving around these two issues that affect us closely, and afterwards we will have the opportunity to ask for help from the lecturers from La Sapienza University who are here this morning with us.
I think we've been talking too much. We've got an expert now. Let's leave room to Max Ayala. He's a comedian, a singer, but he also brings in new ideas. Max.
Sente?
Can you hear me?
Grazie, facciamo una prova di applauso. Facciamo una rullata di piedi.
So let's do it with our feet.
Una risata.
Let's laugh.
Facciamo una risata finta.
Let's do a fake laugh.
Facciamo una risata sostenibile.
A sustainable laugh.
Una risata insostenibile.
Unsustainable laugh. Thank you. So I wanted to sing a song for you that I wrote on the basis of a superhero, Japanese superhero, but sometime when I was your age, so it's the last century.
La conoscete? Ma non mi...
It's Iron somebody. It's very fantastic. So there's some news that NASA some time ago launched it's waste in space, so that we don't have any waste on Earth. So they got a big shuttle and they put a lot of waste in it and they threw it into space, so that because the human being is not looking for new planets, but looking for places where to put their waste.
Vai con le mani! Sai cosa vola lassù? Un cassonetto nel blu, perché la NASA buttò l'immondizia nell'immensità, butterà nello spazio, guarda che immondezzaio che speriamo non ricada qui. Sì, ma è un gran guaio, sembra un letamaio, gesto di una razza che senza paura sempre sporcherà. C'è una discarica lassù che sta orbitando in mezzo al blu. L'immondizia prima va su, poi però cade giù. Allora vi faccio una lezione di come si tiene il tempo.
So I'll give you a lesson of how to keep time.
Se sputi in aria si sa, in terra poi ricadrà, per cui amico non inquinare nell'immensità, non buttar frigo e sedie su nel cielo, so tragedie perché possono ricadere qui. Sì, ma è un gran guaio, sembra gesto di una razza che senza paura sempre sporcherà. C'è una discarica lassù che sta orbitando in mezzo al blu. L'immondizia prima va su, poi però cade giù. Cade giù, ditelo voi. Grazie.
Thank you very much.
Arrivando il tecnico per portare...
So the technician is going to come and take away my guitar, but I wanted to do something with you, which is out. Should we do a little song together? So give me 3 words. 3 words. First word. The earth.
L'acqua.
Water. Second word.
Terza parola.
The earth. The third word.
Capisco.
I don't understand. Rome.
Terra.
The earth. Water and Rome.
Sulla terra, cominciare così è facile. C'erano tanti monti e dai monti scendeva, no, il castoro che veniva dai monti, andava in una città, una grande città che si chiamava, no, Padova, era un castoro padovano che scendeva dai monti del Tirolo, portava acqua questo castoro che veniva da Padova per la sostenibilità che veniva dai monti, che portava l'acqua fino a Roma nell'università. Grazie!
Spaiella! Max, allora, so che sta arrivando...
Max, someone's coming to help you, but I wanted to ask you a question first. A short question. Then we'll invite the professors and we'll have a surprise. Okay. Question is, but how concerned are you about climate change?
I would say it various things. I'd say the truth. You can say
Ottimistica.
optimistic side. You can say a scientific side. I don't know the scientific side, but I'm optimistic. So if we all put something personally, we can do something personally, then we can avoid that something terrible arrives. So we have to all do our part. We have to learn as since we are small. Like you have this opportunity, but you've already learned. We've understood this. Thank you.
Thank you for this answer. So stay with us now. Now, our professors are coming. Each sit down and we go ahead.
Ok, no, se vi volete scambiare ci sta.
Do you want to change your seat? You can, that's fine.
Anche voi.
You can change the chairs if you want to. Thank you, Max. Is this...
So while you're speaking, so the idea not to take the scene, but I will draw something. I'm a bit compulsive in graphics. So you speak and I will draw something. So we'll see what comes out.
So we'll say hello again to our teachers of physical geography, applied geology and geological risk, and structural geology. So we've heard often you read articles, you see news about the climate crisis. Let's look at what's behind me. Because often just stopping on headlines, it just makes us get agitated and we don't really understand what they're talking about. So the second part of our journey is to talk about our knowledge. Can you help us a bit to sort out all the titles and films and videos that we keep seeing? The fact of our knowledge about these things, how can this change our approach? We really panic by things that we don't know about. So when we read just headlines
allarmistici,
that, you're not sure because you hear any kind of language and you don't really know what they're trying to communicate to us. So the knowledge of things can help us to live this information better. And knowledge makes us more aware of what's going on. We can be more aware of what might happen. And so we can get to know more, because luckily we've got school and university that forms us, but also looking for information ourselves.
critico, che cos'è
And also having a critical idea, critical view of things, not criticizing them, but it means having the capacity to analyze the things we're in contact with and to put an order and to have the ability to face these problems so we can solve them. So my advice is to try and be informed as much as possible with your school and also your personal formation, the books, which are very important thing that we mustn't neglect today. And when you've got a sufficient knowledge, then our conscience will help us to make decisions about what we're doing. Thank you. Let's move on in our knowledge. Peter, speaking about electric energy and water that we started thinking the renewable energies, but can it really be an alternative to fossil fuels without having more negative impact?
So first of all, they have to be defined what are the renewable energy. And as we said before we mentioned it, renewable energy, as is said, is with time in its head. So as a geologist, I'll say that renewable has to do with time, and because you are young, and so maybe you don't cook, but with like a basil plant. But you must see how much pasta you do, how much sauce, how much basil. So then the basil will finish, and so we have to buy a new plant. So the renewable energies, but this is it's with time. So with fossil fuels, they are not renewable. It's not because they're not renewed, but you're forming somewhere in the world. And so our consumption takes up the time of this consumption of this energy, because we are speaking about renewable, not because how clean they are, but in a certain sense, the fossils are also renewed in this balance. So in this, recharging is not as quick. We can't recharge it as fast as we wanted. So the renewable energy is an energy that is renewed as much as we consume. So in this optic, the renewable energies are the ones that we know. The sun, because it's infinite, but also the helio sun, but also they are less clean is the biocarbons that are created by the human being. And so they have the same function of the fossils. They have CO2, but they are renewed. But when we speak about renewability, we have to keep in mind the concept of time. Everything is renewed at a certain scale. For our scale, the renewable is what we see in the fact that they are clean. So this is another question which is a bit more complicated. So I would like to give an example, because it's clear that energy, all that we do, has an impact. And if this is true, then we have to already have in our heads that every action that we produce has a consequence. And for this reason, for example, it's clear that all the damage that we have all the fossil fuels have created is we don't need slides to see and to know what happened and the consequences that have taken place. We're speaking about this the whole morning. But it's clear that also the renewable energy and the solar panels, but they're different material, but the material are rare and they are concentrated in the different zones. So we have to dig, and we don't want these in our gardens. But the effect is very positive, and so. And we see in Italy, we have had a lowering of the emissions, and this is what, if you see that yellow curve, that's the use of the fossil fuels during the years. You see it has lowered, and this has, and the CO2 emissions also have decreased. And so we have to create this type of things. And so it's clear there's not a source of energy that is the best, but the impact of this type of energy, which are renewable, help us to lower our impact. But for now, we have to find a true balance of the positive impact and the negative impact between these two, and to continue to have.
This idea of finding a good balance in things, I wanted to ask if you can define sustainable, that how long does it take for things to disappear?
So here's a field that we spoke about before, the nuclear field that produces waste, radioactive waste. And so here I have to be a bit boring. So in this specific field, it's clear what it means to have specific competences in the field. So as geologists, we don't enter into this field because more than everyone, I can say that we know how to know the area and the dynamics. And so it's not so much about understanding if that energy is more or less efficient because it produces waste, but it's to understand where we can put this waste. And if there are places, sure places, that we have seen that the nuclear waste has great disadvantages, but also advantages. So the geologist enters in another phase where we created this waste because we need the energy, because we are all here because we used energy, and we enter in saying, okay, so when we have this resource, we see how to resolve it. So I'm a structural geologist, a geologist that studies the earthquakes. And for example, to have these types of waste, there are sure places, but there mustn't be a place where there are earthquakes, because otherwise the structure that contains these waste, radioactive waste, that can break and can lose and then can make pollution and great problems. So what does a geologist do? Is to divide Italy in all these places and going to see where there will be earthquakes, and to contribute in the knowledge and to see in this area, no, and maybe in some areas, yes. But so to get to know and be aware and to have the knowledge, and the other colleagues who go and look at other aspects. For example, my colleague Carlo, that I passed the word to him. And so to conclude and to link to what Fabio was saying, and so I would like to say the context, the conscience helps us to do something, to be able to remediate, and also the damage that we bring about. And so besides the catastrophic message we have to keep in mind, because our conscience can be led to do the right thing. But we also know the conscience has led us as a community, a scientific community, to develop something that allows us to repair the damage that we do. So Fabio was saying that there is a possibility to see that there are different areas, zones that are right, to that they can have the radioactive wastes, and so avoiding that this gives an environmental damage. And we know that the waste in a general sense. So they are, as geologists, we also individuate different places where we can throw things away, and we have to reduce this, but there will always be different things that it cannot be recycled. So we have to find the places, and these places exist where we can put the waste and with just a threat for the environment. And we have learned where the damage has already been done to clean these places as much as possible. We are able to take away the pollution in the places right from underneath from the waters, but often the waters are polluted. So we also look at the positive.
As Max said before, thank you very much. Now we're going to take another step, thinking of our conscience. But now let's see what you've drawn here.
È un po' l'esempio, non so se la vedete tutti.
So this is the example. I don't know if you can see this. This is a new electric car that the electricity produced by the human being that reduces the impact of the subtle dust, but also
Riduce la non inquina e nello
one doesn't pollute, but at the same time it gets thinner and improves the circulation and their muscles. So it's an electric car of the future.
qua invece avevo fatto una cosa un po'
And here I did something a bit representative, that we kick the earth. And so since it's a ball, and since we are used to having a relationship with soccer, with football, so the earth in some way is being kicked like a ball of a soccer match. And so we have to learn not to kick it, maybe to caress it or to put it on the footstool and to treat it better.
Maybe we need to know what it needs and act on that. Thank you very much for being with us.
Veste di vignettista.
Thank you to all of you.
Comodo qui vicino ai professori.
I'm going to sit down with the professors again, and we'll watch something first, and then we'll talk again.
Grazie, vi invito a raggiungerci qui.
And thank you so much for joining us here. Now we'll come and let's look here at the kick that we gave to the world here. And now you're going to join us here.
Non ci portiamo la chitarra. Prego, Andrea Cavina.
We don't need the guitar.
Allora, posso darti del tu? Tu sei un chitarrista e un compositore che viene da Faenza, quindi una città della regione Emilia-Romagna. La tua musica evoca immagini e ambienti naturali. Ti posso chiedere da dove arriva questa tua ricerca artistica? Perché proprio parli di natura, racconti la natura?
Allora, io diciamo non sono un compositore canonico, nel senso che ho studiato al conservatorio, ma non ho studiato composizione, quindi la mia musica...
I didn't study composition, so my music comes from images and images that are linked with nature. So is what I like, the emotions that it gives me just observing it's the nature around me, and also for the human being. And so I connect these two worlds, and so you hear what's
Thinking about the emotions that come to you through the nature in which we live. Emilia-Romagna was hit by 4 great floods in less than a year and a half between May 2023 and September this year. Can you tell us about your experience about this?
So I come from a zone that I would never have thought of saying it or being here to tell you. I think it's something incredible. It was incredible because you often in the TV you see when it happens in your own home, it's different. So I was fortunate because I was in the zone in my city, which there were no floods, but my parents and the places where I work and many of my friends and relatives, they lost a lot of things. And in the phase of the water retreating, there was all the part of people helping. So we didn't really look at anyone, and we just went to help. And what really struck me, we really speak about this tragedy, but I saw a lot of humanity, a lot of aid that really I was really pleased with this. All the people who came to help and really warmed my heart. And we local people, we also helped one another. We didn't cry for all that we had lost, but we immediately said, what must we do? And all the people who arrived, there's 10,000 people in a few days who came to help in Faenza. They could sleep where they could, and this was really marvelous. And we were speaking about the help of the people. So
it really was touching solidarity firsthand. I'd like now to ask our professor to ask us about conscience. Professor Esposito, the risks that water brings, this water cycle that we studied when we were children, but it can have a great impact on climate change. What are the actions that we can do? What can we do to reduce the risks that come from water?
Yes, I mentioned it before when I spoke as water as a resource, and usually I have a seminar for the high school, which is called Water and the Two Faces of the Same Medal, to represent this concept that the water is a precious gift and is a vital resource, and we've seen it to produce energy. But as this witness has reminded us that now and again nature does what it does, and water comes in a very energetic way. I won't say violence because nature is not violent in this aspect. And so what can we do? We can do a lot. We can do a lot, many things you've heard about, and starting from what we know, the knowledge, the condition of knowing how nature moves. What is the cycle? For example, in Emilia-Romagna, we know it's a region that geologically speaking was formed in geological because of the following events of this type. So it's really exposed to this, and we recognize this studying the earth and getting information of what was happening. Because, for example, I gave an example of Rome, and also in the 1800s or more or less, Rome was also going underwater. And so it's events that not only happen now, so we know this. We've always learned to do something. And so the knowledge, the technology used in the right way and the artificial intelligence that we speak a lot about, they help us to gather a lot of data and elaborate them and to make some provisions to know where we can expect that the water will reach and where there will be floods, and the provisions to the forecast to see in the weather, and to see how the people then behave as a consequence. And so the theme is that often on our territory, the damage has been done. We've already built where we shouldn't have, and then when we have to ask politics to speak more about this, and then and there's also positive and calming, and so we have instruments also to contrast this type of phenomena. And we mustn't run the risk that seeing the changes in the weather, that we don't, not that we don't know the future, but we can really do something. We all have to be responsible and call everyone to their responsibilities. And this is what I want to say.
You teach about the geological risks. It's this, yes. Yet, I knew we'd reach this point now. And how do we lessen these risks that are there? Now,
Ecco, un ultimo chiarimento.
one last thing we want to clarify. We've already spoken a bit. Why the quantity of rain that falls in one area can bring about the development of a community.
So if we go back to what we said before, positively and negatively, water conditions the development of humanity in general. The positive, because where there's more water, where it rains more, we also have to see how it rains, with which intensity and how frequently, and there's more resources for maybe for agriculture and all the human activities, and also the needs that we need, the drinking water. And we've also seen the produce of energy. So where it rains a lot, water is available of energy, of resources, but also at the same time where it rains a lot, but also where it rains badly. During the year, we can count how much water falls in a certain place. So where there's a lot of water, but water is not a resource, but it brings about damage. So some measure the distribution of the richness in the world is the availability of water and the dynamic, atmospheric dynamic, where there is more cyclones, or don't say we speak about the economic side more than civilization is something else.
Thank you. That's very interesting, this linking the economic development and water. You were talking about the solidarity that you felt you touched firsthand in Emilia-Romagna. Now we'll go to Spain, where on the 29th of October there was a terrible flood there. It was called Dana. And this was really there was a collision between the heat and the water. Let's look at these pictures, and I want to thank our professors for speaking to us, and also Andrea, thank you very much. But we'll watch this film now.
Hello to everything. We are the young people from the United World Project from Spain. We are a small group, and we came for the second time to Paiporta, one of the places affected by the Dana that hit Valencia. Over the weekend, we also went to Cataroja, another of the affected villages. We came to give a hand, and as you can see, everything is destroyed and they need lots and lots of help. We are removing mud from a garage. All the things are destroyed. We have to say that there's a lot of solidarity between everyone. There are many people who have come to help, but there's always a need for lots and lots of help. When we arrived, we only had some clothes to protect us from the mud. We didn't have any tools. We couldn't bring them because of the journey. It was almost impossible to get to the places because the roads were blocked. But as soon as we arrived, everyone offered what they had. Everyone shared everything. The neighbors of the garage we were cleaning brought us food and whatever we needed to work. There are people bringing food to all the volunteers who have come from other towns, and you can see that everyone is working hard. Thank you to everyone who is contributing, sending aid, sending money. We would just like to remind you not to forget about the situation now that it's no longer in the news so much. Fewer people are coming than before to help, but there is still a lot of help needed. Thank you.
It is our planet. We love the earth. It is our home. We love the earth. It is our planet. We love the earth. It is our home. I'm a baboon. I'm like a man, just less advanced, and my anus is huge. But I look pretty cool. I'm a white or black. I'm a lion cow, and I'm always getting lead. How's going? I'm a cow. You bring me from my kids. I'm a fat fucking pig. I'm a kung fu, and I'm a dish from the front. Shut you out of my body. I'm a Mary and a land. I can get you for cow. And I am Kanye West. We love the earth. It is our planet. We love the earth.
Together, we have seen how to move from knowledge to being aware of what is happening close to us, but also how important it is to broaden our view of the world. We got a real taste of how to take action when disasters strike our communities. But maybe we don't only need to take action when every of this magnitude happens.
You're right, Riccardo. We can start from ourselves in our daily actions.
Ciao a tutti.
Hi, everyone. I'm Samuele, a student at the Clepper Scientific High School in Rome, Italy. And with my class, we've joined the ECOGIVE project. If I asked you, why do we need to change? What would you say? This project helps us to understand, question ourselves, find solutions so that personal commitment in everyday life is more real.
Samuele, what do you like about this initiative?
I think it's a very good way to spread fundamental principles, to get an important message across, especially among us young people. Up to now, more than 15,000 students internationally have taken part. But that it's in link with the document of the United Nations document. It's our contribution. It means there should be instruction.
It is helping us develop a great awareness of our impact on the environment, even through simple everyday actions. But what can we do? You, for example, what do you do?
I put a lot of effort in saving energy and water with very simple acts, such as turning off the tap when it's not needed or using sunlight whenever I can. But also in terms of recycling, for example, by limiting plastic consumption, avoiding to buy bottled water, preferring tap water. How about you?
For example, I avoid using the car to go to school and prefer to walk. I always try to turn off the light when I leave the room, and then at home we put a lot of effort into recycling.
Fantastic. These are small but great gestures that can really make a difference and can help us save our planet. Moreover, for a couple of years now, thanks to the EcoGive app, we can keep track of all our actions to save energy.
So in the first years, we're keeping everything written down on a paper card. Do you remember that?
Yes, of course, it's much easier now. And we've also continued to support the same project for several years now. The reforestation project in Haiti. There are 3 schools cultivating this, but we need to look at gas, light, and we can see whatever we want to save. Light, water, gas, recycling, and food waste. All the different areas. And you can choose a group altogether that you want to support.
We continue to do this project, the one of
combattere la deforestazione del territorio.
the deforestation of the places. So let's look together.
Appena arriva il video, ovviamente.
Sono Whistler di Haiti. Un grande saluto.
I'm from Haiti. So greetings to all of you. We from the PACNE Association, Action Against the Poverty of the Northeast, we have a project of reforestation that involves 3 schools, 904 teenagers and children from 3 years old till 3 to 19-year-olds. As you know, this situation is very complex, and the chaos and the violence have provoked a lot more poverty and hunger. Poverty here in the mountains has contributed to cutting down trees and to use the wood and to sell it and to be able to make carbon. And this has brought about a drought and fire in many places and bring about more the climate change. The reduce of the number of trees has provoked a lot of damage for floods and a new type of poverty. The young people and the children, through the schools of the regions, and together with their families, they are exposed to these events. So we want to plant trees to help to make new forests and to make to grow, make the economic situation grow. And so there's 3 schools who are cultivating new places to build trees, to do cocoa trees, and also trees. There's a tree of bread, and also the artichokes. And there's a great challenge to fight against poverty and also to answer to the climate change and to do concrete actions for ecology. The children and their families involved are protagonists in this project. With the collaboration of ECOGIVE, we have organized a section of formation on the safeguarding of the environment in the classrooms. And we have planted trees in the parks of the schools and distributed trees among all the families. And we're gathering the fruits of the cocoa and the bread tree, and this will help us to have fundraise for the school and satisfy the needs of the primary needs of some of the families who will receive some of these plants. We hope that this will be a sustainable project for the next 50 and 75 years. We want to encourage every year the school of the zone and to participate in this initiatives. And thank you for what you do to protect our wonderful home, the planet Earth. And we commit ourselves to do our part. Come and visit us if you can. Bye.
Sì, ovviamente oltre a questo progetto ce ne sono tanti altri che supportano altri paesi come il Burundi, le Filippine, eccetera. Comunque.
Ma cosa ti convince veramente di...
But what convinces you about this project?
Quello che sorge spontaneo è: che cosa posso cambiare io?
So what can I change? And as a result, we risk remaining powerless in the face of such broad issues that lead us to feel discouraged. This is exactly what ECOGIVE wants to commit to. We know that we never can do it alone. And there are different countries in the world who are doing this.
Avete scaricato tutti l'applicazione, giusto?
So, have you all got the right app? Now you can copy it now.
Professor Trippetta di venire con me.
Now I wanted to ask, these little gestures that we do they really make a difference?
Yes, we have. We've seen it before. We saw that a green curve depends on the actions that we do every day. And this is really written in the experts who study these dynamics. They write this, that their behavior that each one has is very important for the environment. And I'll give you a few examples. So, who is from Rome here? Who is from the Rome soccer club and the Lazio one? I'm not saying, I won't tell you what team I'm for. And so you say, what does this got to do with? So imagine that there's the Olympic Stadium. It's very important for you.
Se 5 di voi
At least just think of 5 of you, you agree, and in one day they close the tap when they brush their teeth. So for these 5 people, the saving of the water, you can water the whole Olympic stadium just from the water that's saved from that. And then for an example, so the same 5 people who are very virtuous, they decide in July, August in Europe, and just 4 hours they keep the air conditioning. So the energy that is saved is the same as energy that is used for a whole family, for 4 people in a whole year. So 5 people who save in 2 months is equal to a whole family for a whole year of energy, of electricity. So if your classroom, for example, you decide to dress with the same jeans outfit for the whole year, so of not buying any other clothes, is equal to save the carbon dioxide for the whole forest, uses 1 year to absorb. So our impact multiplied by the people that we are is very great on the environment. So every little gesture we make is very important for the environment. This is the idea that is behind this app. So let's do it all possible, and we'll see how it will go.
Buongiorno di nuovo.
Calpesta l'erba di tutto il mondo, passa il gigante sulla città, si porta via lo sfondo, passa il gigante, soffoca l'aria e l'acqua cambia colore, e ci rimane un cielo bucato sopra un mare da buttare, e finché il sole cerca la luna, l'uva diventa matura, l'erba profuma tagliata, incrociamo le dita. Cerco un posto migliore. Tu dove stai? Di che pianeta sei? Questo ha bisogno d'amore. Passa il gigante, graffia le stelle, morde i pianeti. Passa il gigante che anche lassù butta i suoi rifiuti. Passa il gigante, sporca di nero tutto quello che tocca. Cresce il gigante dell'indifferenza di chi non apre bocca. Finché il sole cerca la luna, l'uva diventa matura, l'erba profuma tagliata, incrociamo le dita. Come stai? Quale mondo vuoi? Io cerco un posto migliore. Tu dove stai? Di che pianeta sei? Questo ha bisogno d'amore. Gira la terra, gira, gira tutto, gira. Eppure il vento soffia ancora. Gira la vita, gira, gira l'amore, gira. Eppure il vento soffia ancora. Come stai? Quale mondo vuoi? Io cerco un posto migliore. Dove stai? Di che pianeta sei? Questo ha bisogno d'amore. Come stai? Non ti chiedi mai se c'è un posto migliore.
Grazie. Grazie, grazie.
Thank you to all of you. We've reached the conclusion of this really rich program with many insights for us. We've experienced what it means to try a path of eco-awareness, such as the one proposed by ECOGIVE. It's a path that can lead us to direct and concrete actions that, even if small, can show us a way forward day by day. So then, Ricardo, what will you bring back to your schools and your lives from this day? From this experience, I'm more aware, more responsible, and in school, I'll try to also make some of my friends more sensitive to this and to create an atmosphere that has more respect for nature. And this experience has made me understand how each one of us can make a difference.
So thanks to this project, I had a way to grow under an emotional point of view, but also I got to know many people and also of awareness, because now I'm more careful of what is around me. As a consequence, I'll be more careful in general, and I'm committing myself actively in trying to make everyone sensitive in this topic. And I thank you for this great possibility to speak to 700 people on this topic.
And we want to thank you. Applause for Sylvain and Ricardo. So we're really at the last greetings. We want to thank, first of all, you who've been here with us, all of you, all those who followed on streaming, and also we want to thank the Sapienza University who hosted us, the organisers, the artistic direction, all the technical staff without whom this wouldn't have been possible. The translators meant it was possible that many other people scattered around the world were able to understand what we were saying, and all part of the United World Project on YouTube who are part of this project. And thank you to all of you. Thank you to everyone.
Buona mattinata e grazie.
Right, thank you for having been with us. Have a good day. We'll see you again.
I take off my hat before you. My father died in 1946. I was 6 years old. So when I found myself with the bicycle and I looked and I saw all of this solitude of all this rubbish, everything was upside down. I said, Dad, help me, Dad. No, he didn't give me a help. He gave me a forest of hands, a whole forest. And it was this forest of hands. So attach yourself to the young people that we have been able to do all of this. One of the most beautiful moments of my old existence. You have given me happiness because you have expressed towards me love. I try in some way to exchange this, but I am not able to do this. So remember me, that I have a feeling of love, and it's the deepest sense, and that is what is important in the whole world. So there are a few bad people. And I hope that people understand that the feeling that there is of peace and not of war is love. And to love yourself and to send this love for yourself to all your neighbors, whoever it may be. I love you all. So much love that you can't imagine. You have shown me so much love that can die now. I will die smiling, laughing, and because I'm so happy, because the moment has come which is so positively indescribable.
Non è retorica.